warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh, and good day everyone. We are BSET English. Today we will be having a roundtable discussion about integration of technology in language education.
What to talk in this video? First, benefits of incorporating technology.
In language education.
Secondly, challenges and limitation of technology integration.
Third, strategies for effectively integrating technology into secondary curriculum. Fourth, examples of innovative technology-based teaching methods or resources.
Fifth, utilization of online resources and educational apps. And ethical consideration in technology integration.
And lastly, future trends and implications of technology and language education.
Since we are now in 21st century where the digital technologies or even the social media platforms are evolving, let's talk about now the benefits of it, the benefits of the technologies when they are integrated in classroom. So Miss Rodrigo, would you mind to share the benefits of incorporating or involving technology when we are inside our classroom?
When you are incorporating or utilizing the technology inside the classroom, it makes the students, all of it, you can cater the different learning styles of students because when you are using various technology inside the classroom, you can arouse their motivation, their interest to learn more because in using such a PPT or what we call PowerPoint presentation, the visual learners they could see, and those in audio learners they could hear, and also those videos they can catch their attention. Therefore, it's very big help to teachers and also to the learner incorporating technology inside the classroom.
Yes, definitely. It can make the students actively participate and they become more interested in learning because they are new to technology. For example, in using a PowerPoint presentation, me as a student, I really wanted the teacher to use the PowerPoint presentation because it makes me feel alive during the class, and I feel like I want to learn more because I feel interested. I want to learn more because of that PPT that the teacher are showing, and there's some videos and some activities that they are integrating in that PowerPoint presentation.
Yes, that's right. And that's right now. And we know that inside the classroom, we know that our students, they have their own learning pedagogy that we need to cater in our classroom discussion. And we know in interacting with a technology in our discussion, our session will be engaging, and also the interest of our student is there is a what we call this they watch a video to learn more and to understand more the topic that we have.
Yeah, the supplementary.
Yes.
Okay, so in addition to your point of view, using technology integrating in our class, it's very interesting for the students, especially in the lower grades, because they need more explanations, and through the pictures they can easily understand what is the meaning of that text, or what is the meaning of the teachers on how they deliver their discussion in the class.
Yes.
Exactly. This integrating technology can also boost confidence of the students, whereas they feel wanted. They have the freedom to understand the topic, to dig more about the information about the concept. Because usually the students are becoming interested if there are technology which it is easier for them to access information, the websites, and even the gamified applications that they can use to train their minds,
their understanding, their skills, and so on and so forth.
That's true. And also, it also helps the students and teachers and educational personnel to broaden or let's just say collaborate with other people through using the different platforms such as connecting with different people in foreign land to make through Facebook, yeah, through Telegram, through Google Meet, such that they could talk, they could communicate rather, and extend their advocacy, could be thesis too, to make a difference, to make a change, to make help in our community aside inside education or inside classroom.
Yes, definitely. It is a good thing that there is technology because it allows the students to collaborate and to interact with different people with different backgrounds, which it also allows them to understand different cultures and traditions.
That's true.
But furthermore, as a future educator, as a teacher, we should know how to use the technology, how can we integrate our classroom with technology. Why? Because if the teacher, although we are living in the 21st century, if we don't know how to use that in our classroom, that the interesting of our student, we cannot manipulate. And they
Yes.
can understand
Yeah.
those topic that we want to discuss to them. And also, as a future educator, we should be a global competent.
Yes.
Specifically now in the 21st century.
They're now in modern
Yes.
education.
Yes.
That's true. That is one of the challenges that teachers facing in nowadays. The lack of training
Yes.
of teachers who are gonna use or utilize the different technology inside the classroom. Yeah, inside the classrooms. One of the another challenges with that, aside from the training, is the lack of support from the head of them giving the opportunity to have a training because some of the teachers are in a traditional way and shift to modern education. That's why it's hard for them to adapt that automatically. Therefore, they should have the opportunity to have a training in order to learn how to operate different technologies that are used inside the classroom.
Yes.
Actually, there's a lot of challenges that the teachers face using this technology in integrating in our school in education. One of that is the lack of internet connections.
Yeah.
Not all the students or the teachers have a good internet connection in their place. So they cannot use that certain technology without that internet connection. Yes.
Yes. Specifically.
Because of the poverty, some of the students are in a rural area. They cannot buy, some gadgets, such cell phone or laptop, in order to participate in a technology way of teaching. That's why some of the teachers they're using blended or another schools they're still using traditional.
Yes. And in the pandemic, the teachers are feel challenged because some knows how to use the technology and some did not know how to use it. So they are experiencing a challenge in using that technology in teaching.
Very important for teachers to have seminars or workshops about using those tools or gadgets to be able to integrate it in class because nowadays, right, we are using those tools to teach our students, right?
Yes.
So, for the effective integration of the technology, it is also important to consider the facilities, the availability of the resources, because for instance, in some rural areas, they do not have an access for any websites or gamified applications
and each other that can help them to enhance their performance skills, their cognitive skills, or specifically the three domains, the psychomotor, cognitive, and the affective. So it is really important to consider the facilities, because if the facilities are not safe and are not interesting enough for the students to be interested also to the discussion. So in some ways, teachers uses cartulinas, posters to support the students' learning process. So in those challenges, of course, we have to find a way on how we can overcome that challenges. And the first one is, of course, we should have, or we must implement our learning objectives. Whereas it is very important, it is very crucial to know your objectives, to know your goals, for you to have to go on the path that is correct and accurate and meaningful for the students. So in addition to that,
It's not only about using technology. You should also know your students, their background, their interests. Therefore, you can effectively use or utilize the technology or the tools such as PowerPoint presentation. You can give examples that they are connected to your student and they can relate to it. That's the best strategies to that.
You also have to consider the activities or the templates that you are using. If these activities is interesting to the students, or it is their learning styles, because if the activities you provided, the websites or any other applications that you are using or integrating in classroom, the students may not feel interested in your discussion because they don't have the idea about it. So they did not experience it, or they don't find it meaningful. So it is crucial to consider their learning styles, and so you can make a strategies or a way on how you can relate your activities to their learning preferences.
That's true.
And also in choosing activities, it should be aligned to the topic itself, because you cannot use an activity that is not suitable for your lesson. Because how the student can learn if, for example, in activity it is not aligned in the lesson itself.
Yes.
Am I right, Ms. Lawrence?
Yes. Our activity is not aligned to our learning outcomes, which is our activity is useless.
Yeah.
Useless.
Yeah, that's true. You cannot measure the learning of your student if the assessment or the activities that you give is not aligned to it.
And also, how can you ask your student after the activities if your activity is not aligned to the topic, not aligned to the learning outcomes, and if you ask your student, the reaction of the student, huh? Like that.
Definitely.
Because your activity is not aligned to your topic and also not aligned to your learning outcomes.
That's why we need to use technology in a concise and precise way.
Yes.
Be effective teacher.
Yes.
So that's true. And in addition to your preference or point of view, the teacher should also understand or consider the learning of the students. For an instance, in order for the students to easily understand the topic, you can also integrate or play videos that could relate to their experiences.
Yes.
And also, in terms of localization, the students or the teachers can easily integrate what we call this one?
Examples.
Yes.
The videos.
Yes.
They are familiar with it.
Yes.
That they can relate with.
Yes.
Yes. The most common is the best things to teach teacher could use inside the classroom, we can have also the technology.
Technology,
Yes.
So when it comes to integrating technologies, of course, we have to contextualize it. Like what you have said, wherein we use different platforms or applications or an activities that needs technologies where the students can relate to it. Since the students are they are being interested if they are familiar with the things that you are presenting.
Yes.
For example, if your students are a Muslim and you are presenting about the Islam, and the Muslim people will understand what you're talking about because that is their religion, and it is easily for them to understand it because it is their own religion.
Yes.
Yes, that's true. And also that, in order for them to use technologies, you can make them create videos. You can instruct them to have a use multimedia to create something creative way and with collaboration with their peers and also with the guides of teacher. They could make something very meaningful videos such as asking their elders about their past or their stories that they've been being orally tell to their children or to their granddaughter, grandsons, and to share more about their cultures inside the classroom. Yeah, the experiences in the math.
You can also assign them to make a story that related to their experience.
That's true.
Yes.
Among the strategies in integrating technology in classroom, there are also a lot of examples of innovation. Being a creative teacher or a student. For example, we are using our grades now are already we can access our grades now through portal. Before, teachers are using only cards or a paper, 1/4 to write our grades.
Yes.
So now we can only access or we can already access the grades we have coming from our different subjects through portal. So it is very this 21st century where digital is evolving. We are now the portal is everywhere. It is available for the students for them to have their own privacy so that no one can access their grades or use their grades that can harm them.
Yeah,
So
that's true. Even they are at home, they can access their grades. They can see it.
yeah.
Even wherever the students they are, they could see their grade, monitor their grade, and also with the help of the internet and the data they could use too.
And also the lessons. Our lessons today are, the teachers are giving us e-copy of our copies, right? Before, we will go to the library and find some sources for books that is related to our lessons. And now, we can find it in Google, we can find it in every website that is available through the use of technology.
Yes, it's really cool nowadays. The work are become easy for both teachers and students.
And from that, before the teacher just write it in the blackboard, which really consumes so much time, right? Because the students have to write to wait and copy the text written in the board. But now the teachers provides the what Miss Liza said, the e-copy or the modules.
Yes.
And also nowadays we also have this so-called PowerPoint presentation. Also, it is more lively than just seeing mere text only.
Yes.
That's true.
So, in this era, the people now are being innovative. They are being creative to invent such kind of technology or websites where it makes teachers and students work easily.
Yes.
Other than that, in our modern classroom, if we had activity, We will write in a yellow pad to submit. We will write in a bond paper to submit our output to our teacher. But now, we will submit it in a classroom.
Google Classroom.
Yeah, Google Classroom.
And then Drive.
Yes.
Email too.
Yes. So that's why in the 21st century we can easily access the if there's a website that we will use.
So another example of these innovative technologies are those applications like Kahoot, where we can quiz. We can have a quiz be on this application.
Yes.
So before we should write the answers on papers, but now we can click the good answers and the teachers view it if it is correct or not. And another thing is the ChatGPTs and CCs, we can generate the drawings that hard for us to draw. Yes, so that we become a creative in terms of those applications.
Those are in the information through online, the utilizations of online resources such as what are those that we have here in our schools that we have the Kahoot. But in personally, the schools that we have is we have the portal where we called Moodle before when we are in online. And we also have this what we call the classroom, which are those are educational apps that are for us in our major. We have this owned by our teachers, facility they edited, and also we have that what we call G Drive. Those are also an educational app where we collect. The teacher rather collect our output, and based on that they give a grade, and through the platform of the what we call the Gmeet. Gmeet, they're gonna show us our score and so on. That's a tool that we are using or utilizing those online resources that we have.
Yes. So in addition to that, there are also some applications where it provides us an authors and for example, we are making our thesis. So it is really not problem to us anymore because there are applications or websites that we can access for legit or a valid author.
Scholarly, right?
Scholarly, if I'm
Yeah.
not mistaken.
Yes, and aside that is the what we call a lot of our educational apps that for that.
So, but the Google we can also utilize the Google
But we
to
need
have
to not all the sites that are trusted in Google. We just need to read and be.
However, Google also helps us at some time
Yeah, that's
or somehow because it also provides a lot of pictures, videos, informations coming from different researchers, universities, and websites that can help us to have a good output or a valid output, reliable output, and so. Yes.
It by using those online resources, we also think the ethical considerations of it.
Yes.
Because some of the informations and the Google that you mentioned or in other sites are not really the original or the original owner or reliable. You as a student and future educator, you must evaluate. Evaluate well if whether the information that they're being uploading are legit. And if it's legit, you can use it by citing their author and so on.
So another ethical consideration is about academic integrity. So we all know that AI are now around the world. AI
very wrong.
Yeah, it's rampant.
rampant.
Very used in our classroom actually.
So academic integrity, whereas you have to consider this because information or research output can be copied online.
Yeah. So we have to be careful with using technology.
Be true to yourself.
Yes.
That's true.
When we are using technology, when we are accessing information, especially if you're not, or if you forgot, if you forgot citing the author. So of course there are a lot of consequences when when we make one mistake. For example, there's a research online where it is related to my research study. So I can face a lot of consequences and cases that can harm me, that can ruin my reputation, my career, for copying that information without citing the author or the owner of that research.
That's true.
So the plagiarism now is is everywhere. Yes.
It's easy to copy and paste
Yes,
information from online.
That's true, but that's why we have the invent or discover create what we call creative. Yeah, in order to avoid those consequences and those shameful kind of work that's stealing someone's work without paying. That's not a good character of a good educator.
Academic integrity must be under consideration because technology can help us at the same time also challenges our honesty. Because like what I have mentioned earlier, we can access information easily. However, it also challenges our honesty, our creativity. Because sometimes we just copy the information or fraud the information. So it makes us having no creativity of our own. We do not create our own
Do
output.
not trust yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the. And also in creativity, talking about creativity, you can ask help from AI and you can up with some you still maintain your originality.
Yes.
You can ask of course for guidance and so on, but the originality remains on you. You still need to create something that are wonderful and original. Legit.
Because AI is just your guide and
Yeah.
not substitute.
And also, it's okay to use technology. I mean, it is okay to use AI, but you should be careful. Do not just copy and paste it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Not only rely
Yeah.
on those artificial
Yes.
intelligence.
You can make it as your guide, but do not copy and just paste then submit it to your teacher.
Yes.
Because that's
I try to create your
Yeah.
sometimes. The AI is your base,
Yeah.
not that is the I can easily copy paste and send it to my teacher. It's not.
no.
We should only limit. No,
Yes.
we should only limit in terms of using AI.
Yeah.
They say some of their students that they are in that AI and they don't know how to make their own sentence. They didn't know how to do their cognitive.
Yeah.
That's why we should think first before we copy
Yeah,
those.
that's true. That's why as a teacher, we should teach our future learners to rely their own self. Rely to themselves.
Be true to yourself.
Yes, that's it. And also in sharing information with privacy. It should remain privacy. Private from its word privacy. All very sensitive information should keep to ourselves. Personalized. Do not share it online. Do not share it to AI because okay, that's fine. It's AI. You cannot use it. No, you cannot trust those platforms at all because you may not know that your data or your information will leak and spread online. That would be a bad ad. You get repercussion.
Because data, when they are not safe, and someone else's has an access to that information,
they may use it in some activities that can harm the owner of that data, of that information. So, for example, in social media, we tend to see information on videos of a person that is, let's say, the video is related to some sensitive, like, yes, a sensitive one, or let's say, yes, a scandal video. So sometimes the scandal videos or the persons in that videos are not really them. So maybe through the technologies, through the AI, it is possible to make that video because AI now is a trending one. It is one of the trending applications that people use to harm other people, to criticize other people, or yes, to criticize.
Yeah, in short,
Boundary.
you know your limit.
Yes.
That is it. You know your limit, specifically those kind of things.
Yeah, that's true. When it's inside a classroom, all the data or all the information of your student, you must keep it in safe, such as in a G drive or in a safe portal or school archive. Therefore, it cannot leak to anyone. Because the information that being shared with you should be privately. Yeah. So in addition to that, ethical consideration, we have to consider also the availability and accessibility of a certain resources or application. For example, when you are teaching in a rural area, of course, most of rural areas doesn't have any access to some resource, a lot of resources or a website. So do not use informations that are not accessible for the students. For example, as a teacher who has the access to internet or a website, but the students do not have the access to internet, and the teacher uses or instruct the students to have their Google Meet. However, they don't have a gadget. They don't have access to, or the gadgets in their place are not available. So it would be unfair for the students because they cannot access that Google Meet or Google Classroom. So basically, students will not, cannot perform well when they don't have the access to the things that a teacher is providing to the students. They will be left behind. The lessons in learning and skills are in knowledge. It's sad things that are sometimes happen in reality.
Is it possible for in the future that the teacher would be replaced by artificial intelligence?
Nowadays, technology is still and that is possible that in the future that the robot can replace teachers to facilitate the learning of the students. Because even in now, yes, because we can use robot actually in some aspect of works like like cleaning. Yes, in cleaning, there's a robot that use that that do that certain work. And it is possible in the future that teacher can be replaced by the robot.
If the people do not have their limit in using AI or in inventing AI or robots, because we cannot deny the fact that teachers are still the best items for constructional materials, although with the support of technology or not. However, the performance or the teaching
performance of the teacher is being enhanced with the help of digital technologies or resources that are easily to access.
Most of the people debate that AI cannot replace teachers because they don't know how to empathize or sympathize with their students.
Yeah, that's the difference between robot and human.
That's true.
That's true, but in the future, I think it would be tough. Both teachers and robots could be in the same room or in the same places to work together to make it things fast and so on.
Place to do the works because of the AI.
Yes.
So that's the reason why even now the AI is replaced. I'm not saying that it actually replaced, but we can use AI as a guide or even all the written in the AI, the teachers or the students are using it. Yes.
As you can observe, in different
Yes.
platforms, there's an AI already for guidance. That's a cool discussion, my dear.
Yes.
So,
AI is not the only trending technologies in this era. There are some other technologies or websites that are used by the teachers and students to have a good output. For example, there are websites that we could use for our PPT templates, or activity templates. So there are a lot, and integrating technology does not only talk about the AI, but everything in technology, the websites, the applications, both non and offline or online. Yes, online and offline applications.
that's a great discussion.
Yes, and I hope that we learned a lot of things.
I've learned a lot of things about it.
So that's it. We should not limit our skills ourselves in being productive, being creative, and let's not rely on AI to do our works because it cannot improve our skills. It cannot improve our critical thinking.
The
Yes.
forces.
Yeah,
The
that's
forces, the communication, collaboration, creative and critical thinking.
Yes.
So I believe that's all. So thank you so much for participating for this discussion.